Hello again. It is Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires. Right on our strength. Talking sprint car racing. Our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Erin, Evernham, and Steve Post here in the Hercules Tire Studios in Concord, North Carolina. How are you?
I'm great. Yourself?
Fantastic. Kyle Larson. Okay, so we've had this year where Kyle Larson has won like all these marquee events. The Chili Bowl, the Coca-Cola 600, the Kings Royal, the Prairie Dirt Classic, the Knoxville Nationals.
Yeah.
And you know, in those genres, if you win one of those, like if you're a one-time Chili Bowl champion, you will forever be introduced as the Chili Bowl champion.
Yep.
So Prairie Dirt Classic, all of those, you know. So his next gold crown jewel race was this past Sunday night. The Bojangles, that's the old name. The Cookout Southern 500. The Cookout Southern 500, okay? He did not win the race, but he won the show. Aaron, I don't know if you saw this or not, but everyone is saying Denny Hamlin's leading the race. Larson put the right side of the car on the wall in turn number 3 and gassed it up and rim rode. And had Denny not slid up in front of him, which you naturally do at Darlington, I'm not sure, but Larson may not have gone around the outside of him. Now, they're calling that Nintendo racing, or because remember when Carl Edwards did that years ago, he said, well, it worked in the video game. They're calling it that. It's not that, Erin.
No,
you had one theory of what it is. Okay,
my theory is it's the slideways karting technique.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone at the Nationals was out there and watched, but and Kyle was the one doing it the most. They put the car just up against that little metal barrier, and they just ride it around.
That's what he did.
So
that's
exactly what I thought of.
See, I'm going with he Port Royaled it.
Oh,
because when you look at the way those guys go around Port Royal, when you look at that, he Port Royaled it.
Yeah,
but either way.
You don't want that kind of contact at Port Royal.
No. Well, you got fenders there at Darlington.
Yeah.
It just continues. I know this is sprint car racing, but Kyle Larson, what he is doing for the sport of auto racing in North America is unreal. He has brought the whole, there's a lot of good things that have happened.
Yeah.
A lot of good things that tie short tracks to big tracks. You know, I mean, and we can go down the list. But at the top of that is what Kyle Larson is doing.
In any genre, like you said.
Exactly. Because late model fans are watching cup races. And sprint car fans are watching late models. And midget fans are watching late model. I mean, everyone's watching everything to see what Kyle Larson.
You know, it's funny that you say that, though. I was reading an article that Caitlin Sweet did recently, and she talked about, or Caitlin Larson, I still call her Caitlin Sweet.
Yeah.
How when they go to an outlaw race or a sprint car race, they have to take out all the late model stuff because the stuff doesn't sell at a sprint car race.
Doesn't sell.
And then you go to the late model race, you got to take out all the sprint car stuff.
Yeah.
So they're watching each other, but you're still not buying the shirt.
They're not buying, well, no, you're not going to buy a shirt. So I had a great visit at Daytona somewhere with Frankie Kerr, Michigan with Frankie Kerr. And Frankie's like, I said, you know, it's so nice we watch all these pay-per-view races. He said, my pay-per-view racing is where is Kyle Larson? That's what Frankie Kerr is watching. He says, and Frankie said he's never seen anything like it. So I spent some time, Circle B Diecast is one of our clients, and they're also a partner, and they actually have some late models that they sent with Kyle up to some 164 scale late models that are sending to Eldora because the next Crown Royal is the World 100 this Thursday night. He's going to try to go for it. By the way, if you would like to watch Kyle Larson in that, go to flowracing.com/MRN. flowracing.com/MRN and get signed up for Flow Racing. I know a lot of our Wing Nation people are already on Flow Racing, but that's his next crown jewel race Thursday night. Unreal.
It really
unreal what one guy is doing in American motorsport. And, you know, I mean, just he was the show at Darlington.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
So, let's get into our Hefner Racing products, hot topics. The big show for the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars this past weekend was the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. James McFadden picked up the win on Friday night. That was cool to see.
Yeah, it
Love
was
to
neat
see
to see him
J-Mac get
victory
that
lane.
win. The KKR train continued on Saturday night with Brad Sweet getting the win. Carson Macedo won the big one, $25,000, the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals on Sunday night. And then they continued up in the way out west. Grays Harbor, Logan Schuhart won last night. We're going to have Carson Macedo on the show a little bit later on. Flow Racing, All-Star Circuit of Champions, the Attica Ambush. Friday night, Zeb Wise. What makes this of note to me is at the last time we saw Zeb Wise was Baps Motor Speedway the week before when that thing went in the wall backward and caught on fire. And he comes right back at Attica and wins. And Saturday, Spencer Baston, he had remember the World of Outlaw race at Ransomville a few years ago where Schaefer would come off from 4 and put it in the moat?
Yep.
Baston was doing that off turn number 2 on the backstretch at Attica. And the car was literally off the racetrack, and then he would rock it back up and over. And Spencer Baston.
There's a fine line right there.
There's a fine,
disaster.
Yeah. It can look really, really good when it goes right, but it looks really, really bad. And then you'll say, boy, that was a dumb move. Now, I mean, I'll never forget. I think it was Brad or someone was chasing Schaefer when he was doing that at Ransomville. And he's like, every lap, oh, he's over the wall. And he's 2 car lengths ahead of me further. Oh, he's over the wall again. He's 3 car lengths ahead of me, Baston was rolling at Attica, the Attica ambush. It was fun to watch, that's for sure. They ran that whole show off. They had some weather. They ran the whole thing off like in an hour and 20 minutes or something like that. Yeah, Paul McMahon was like, I was busy working on a project. I went to tune in and it was already over. King of the West Series, Silver Dollar Speedway, the Louis Vermeil Classic at Silver Dollar. Well, if it's California, it's Dominic Scelzi, and if it's not Dominic Scelzi, it's Justin Sanders, and if it's not Justin Sanders, it's Dominic Scelzi. They split it. Those two are having an awesome year. They are really, really neat. Central Pennsylvania, Williams Grove, Brent Marks, Alan Crimes, and Tyler Ash picked up the Lincoln Twin 20s. Lance Deweese getting that 69K car tuned up for this weekend with a win at Port Royal. And Danny Dietrich won the Labor Day Classic. His mom tweeting pictures of fair food all morning long to me.
I saw a lot of fair food.
Oh, my gosh. There's way, way, way too much fair food.
I thought you told everyone not to.
I did. I got on our podcast last night and told me to nip it over there, and I think that just got them all stirred up even more. I've seen more fair food pictures. Wanda Dietrich sent me fair food picture that morning. Like the only thing better than that is pictures of her son in Victor Lane. I mean, what a day for Wanda Dietrich. Fair food in the morning or noon and her boy winning. So the Pete Jacobs Memorial out at Wayne County, Erin Reitzel with his new race team scored the win. Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour at Lake Ozark Speedway. It was rain on Saturday. Dylan Westbrook picked up the win on Saturday. We had Dylan on, you can go to our Facebook page right now, or our Facebook page, and watch. He was on our television program on Rev and Mav, Dylan Westbrook. You know what was interesting about it is I was going through the results, though. Most times we'll say, boy, he had a great win, or he had a great weekend. We didn't have multiple race winners. When you look, 4 World of Outlaw races, 4 different winners, 2 All-Star races, 2 King of the West, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races, or 5 races in Pennsylvania. A guy named Noah Gass, he won Friday night at Jacksonville, Illinois, and Saturday he won with IRA up at the Plymouth Dirt Track in Sheboygan. Okay, and Sye Lynch. Sye is on a roll here. And he picked up the win at Lernerville on Friday and Tri-City on Sunday. We're going to talk to Sye here on the program. So, but a lot of different winners, which is good. See that. Yeah, I do too. Good stuff, that's for sure. Seems to be the health of sprint car racing is very, very well. So there you have it. Our Hefner Racing Products Hot Topics. HRP Wings is the original recessed rivet wing manufacturer. They use wind tunnel and track performance testing to outpace the industry in design, innovation, and functionality.
And not only for sprint cars, but lightning sprints, micro, and junior sprints. They can be shipped across the world and can be economically ground shipped to your door.
www.hrpracing.com. That's hrpracing.com. Our friends at Hefner Racing Products. Wonderful, wonderful folks. Not only wings, but boy, just go on their catalog. If you are, and now's the time you get those off-season, get the truck put back together, the shop put back. Now's the time before you move everything from the truck to the shop to get that shop cleared out, organized with all of our friends at HRP with all of their stuff. It is time to do it. We talked about the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals up at Skagit Speedway. This is what it looks like when there's $25,000 on the line. Your names are Logan Schuhart and Carson Macedo. Here's Johnny Gibson with the call on Dirt Vision.
And now for the Dryden death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
Schuhart down to the low side, can't get by the lap car, I should say the slower car, not lapped yet. And now the opportunity for Macedo to retake the lead with a slide job in 1 and 2. Carson Macedo back to the point, down the back straightaway.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Dryden Diesel All Death, the official death of the World of Outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
Over the years, Dryden has stood for uncompromised value and proven performance. Known as the hardest working brand in heavy-duty lubrication, Dryden's heritage is made in America and made to last. Dryden products work to increase the life and enhance the efficiency of your equipment in the toughest conditions. Learn more about Dryden's products at Dryden.com. From grassroots racing to NASCAR, Dryden is a proud supporter of racing everywhere.
Over 200 events from coast to coast, and they're celebrating 30 years of Scattering Soil, the American Sprint Cars Series. The world's largest sprint car sanctioning body is bringing more thrills with wing and even more non-wing action in 2021. 11 regional tours, the national tour. No matter where you are, we're coming to a track near you. Can't be there? Get double the streaming fun with Racing Boys and FlowRacing.com, bringing all the adrenaline to your favorite streaming device. See the full lineup of this now at ASCSRacing.com.
One of our favorite parts of the country is Western Pennsylvania. We love the racing over there. And boy, it seems like this year, it just seems like there's been a lot of races over there. With Tri-City being back running, Pittsburgh, Sharon's running a lot more. Mercer's ran some 410 races. And of course, then the Friday nights at Lernerville. And a guy that has really picked up the pace this year, he's up to 7 wins this year, but 4 of his last 5 races have been wins. Joining us on the Dryden Hotline is Sye Lynch. Hello, Sye. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Hey, guys. Thank you for having me. It means a lot.
I am not hearing Sye. All right.
Can you hear me?
Trying it again. All right. Try to dial that back up. We're mashing all the buttons and twisting all the knobs and getting everything taken care of. All right. Sye Lynch, welcome into Wing Nation.
Hey, guys. Thank you for having me. It means a lot.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. Looks like you've got that car absolutely rolling here, winning 4 of your last 5 races.
Yeah, things have been rolling really well. We've been trying some new things, and every weekend we've just been trying to get better and better, and it's been working.
Sye, how did the partnership with Josh Bowman come about? Seems like ever since then, and like Steve said, last few weeks, you really have something figured out.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Josh and I have been friends for a couple of years now, and through the separation last year, of BRM, he wasn't entirely sure what he was going to do. First, he brought me on business-wise to handle a couple things for him towards the end of last year, and then just kind of worked out to for the Bowman family to help us out for this year a little bit. So. No, it means a lot, and with him bringing Fisher Body Shop and the Fisher family as well. It's really been able to bring us to a new chapter in our racing here. So also with him racing a couple races this year, it helps me as a driver to have, kind of a team car to go off of. And I think that's been a huge help as well, because I can kind of bounce, I've never had that opportunity. So kind of bounce some ideas. He'll try something, I'll try something, and we'll see what works at the end.
Sye, when we've talked to you multiple times, and you've talked about just being a small family team, a legendary family team. Yeah. There's no denying that, but a small family team from Western Pennsylvania, getting a partnership with a guy like Josh, who's a real racer, really into it. What kind of ways, beyond bouncing information, but is it able to get you guys to a little bit further to that next level?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the biggest thing is he and I were friends first, and so the communication's already there. Sometimes in racing, partnership forms up, and sometimes it seems forceful, or the chemistry's not there, the communication's not there. But we were friends first, and so it was always easy to communicate, and always easy to, we know what we like in the cars, and he has a different driving style than I do. And I think he's really helped me, getting out. We still went to Eldora and Knoxville this year, and getting to finish 12th at Eldora for the Kings Royal. And, I tried something completely different on the car, and then, finishing 10th on a prelim night at Knoxville, after a big wreck, the week or two before. It was just trusting the process and trusting what he was saying and what my guys were saying as far as, what we think would work on the car, and just changing my driving style up just a little bit. So just trying to adapt and take in all the advice that I can and be the best that we can be.
So Steve mentioned your family, so I got to ask how they're doing. I saw your grandfather from a distance at Knoxville and gave a quick wave, but didn't get the chance to speak with him. And I always have to ask about your crazy Uncle Chad.
Yeah. My Uncle Chad was there at Knoxville, and he still comes out as much as he can, and my dad's still been with us for sure, and he's been enjoying it as well. So yeah, my grandmother actually still gets to come out to some races. She was just there for my win at Lernerville on Friday. So it's still been a family sport for us, and it's crazy. A lot of it seems like racing nowadays is turning into big business, and they're kind of. I just don't want them to lose touch of the family aspect. So I'm proud to be third generation, and we try to keep that family rolling.
And it is rolling, that is for sure. I want to talk about just what is going on in Western Pennsylvania. I started this interview by saying it just appears to me, sitting down here, that there's a lot more races for you guys. Of course, Friday night has always been Lernerville, but to me it seems like between, I'm going to start at Sharon, Mercer's had some races, Pittsburgh's had some races, and then you've actually added Sunday at Tri-City. Has there been more races, and kind of what's going on up there in that part of the world?
Yeah, absolutely. They really have stepped up. I give them all a bunch of credit. They've really embraced, they find, years and years ago, back whenever my dad raced, it used to be 3 days a week racing, and that's why, my dad always worked a full-time job, and that's why he never traveled so much, more than what he already did, was just because you could race 3 days here all within 2 or 3 hours of home and still work Monday through Friday. So, originally this year I planned on traveling a lot more. And we still did travel, a fair amount, but it was just tough, whenever there's shows within 2 or so hours of you, and all of my crew guys have full-time jobs, and, it's tough to make some of those shows whenever, Western PA really did embrace us this year. So we tried to support them as much as we could, and, I hope that continues for next year, and we'll see what happens.
So you talked about the chance to go to Eldora, to go to Knoxville. We talk about this with a lot of drivers, but how important is that for your team and for your confidence to go run those races and then come back and kind of have a little edge on the guys you usually race with?
Yeah, no, it's massive. And, my dad did it for majority of his career. He always highlighted some bigger shows that he made sure he wanted to go race at. And, for me, trying to get to the next step in racing and take it as far as I can, those are shows that, in my opinion, you have to be at. If you're trying to get to any next level at all, no matter what level you're at, you really have to pick, you have to circle some big shows, and even if you feel like you're there or not there, or, competitive or not competitive or whatever, I mean, you have to be there. And it, without a doubt, the good, the bad, the ugly, it all helps. No matter what, any note is a good note, the way that I look at it. Even if you have a bad night, what not to do. So, we've really taken it one step at a time, and I think we've really we've had speed a lot this year, but, we just kind of need to dot our I's, cross our T's, and we're still learning. We've had a great stint here since Knoxville. 4 out of 5 races we've won, and I think we've had a third and a fifth other than that. So, it's been great. We're rolling, but we know how racing can go. It can go just as it came. So we're just trying to keep it going.
No doubt it can. It certainly can, and enjoy the ride while it's at the top end. We talk to drivers who go to World of Outlaw races from across the country, or when the World of Outlaws come to an area, and they all talk about that qualifying lap sets up your night or ruins your night. When they rolled into your home track, Lernerville Speedway, for the Don Martin Memorial Silver Cup, that qualifying lap puts you quick time for the World of Outlaws. Is that validation of going out and doing this stuff? I mean, I know the night didn't end up where you wanted it to, or didn't end up there at the front, but was that validation getting a quick time against the Outlaws at that race?
Yeah, no, I mean, Lernerville, I've always had confidence at, and I feel like we roll really well there. And with the Outlaws coming to town, the best in the world. I mean, that's what kids dream about. And, we were really fast right off the bat, and we carried it really well throughout the night. We won the heat, we won the dash. We led the first 14 or so laps of the feature, and put on a great battle with Brad and Erin and David as well. So we actually ended up breaking off a left front shock, and that's what happened. But, never really said anything about it. And people said that, people had their own explanation of what they thought happened. But, I knew we did 92% of the night 100% correct, and I know what we would do different. And, we know what happens. So that's all we're concerned about, and there's going to be plenty more races and plenty more opportunities for us to try to show what we got. So really just excited for each next race that we have coming up.
I like the 92%. I like that. You sound like your dad when you speak. Statistics like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, but boy, that 8%.
Yeah, very frustrating. Very frustrating, no doubt.
So what does the remainder of the season look like? Are you going to stick around home? You have any big races on the calendar?
Yeah, I mean, we will be at the Tuscarora 50 this weekend, Thursday through Saturday. And then really after that, we're really just going to pick and choose what makes sense to us. We have talked about the National Open. We have talked about World Finals. So, yeah, I mean, we still have some races that are around us here that are going to pay pretty well. And, we're just going to do what makes sense to us, especially with the scarcity of being able to get products. And we're not entirely sure if that's going to roll over into 2022 or not. We don't want to put ourselves behind the eight ball going into the off season. So we're trying to end the year on a high note, end the year smart, but we still want to be at those big shows. So, we're going to race Tusky this weekend, and we'll just take it 1 week at a time after that.
Great stuff for sure, Sye. Congratulations on the success here in the last month or two, and really all season long with 7 wins. It's been a solid run for you, and we wish you the best this week at Port Royal and through the balance of the season. Thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
All right, thank you guys so much. It means a lot.
There we go. Sye Lynch. Trust the process.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, how many of us on how many aspects of our life get out to lunch when we don't trust the process? Brad Sweet did
Citywide
not
to
become Brad
countryside.
Sweet by clicking his heels and buying a sprint car.
No.
Brad Sweet became Brad Sweet by working and grinding and working and grinding and getting his teeth kicked in and working and grinding harder and getting to the point where he's at now. He followed the process.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it takes. It's Sye Lynch following the process up there in western Pennsylvania.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there no matter where the road takes you. Go to HerculesTires.com. There you can find the nearest authorized Hercules retail location to you. Plus, you can use the tire tracker to find out which Hercules tire fits your vehicle the best. That's HerculesTires.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Circle B Diecast is the new diecast outlet from Plan B Sales. What started as Lionel and Chase Authentics apparel distributor has grown into the largest distributor of diecast and now includes Auto World Greenlight Collectibles, Brand Art, Sam Bass Artwork, and University of Racing lines. They have a huge inventory. The folks at Circle B Diecast love racing and support drivers like Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Christopher Bell, and many others with sponsorships and partnerships. And on orders over $20, use promo code MRN for free shipping. Check them out, CircleBDiecast.com.
Want to experience racing in its purest form? Do you yearn to return to where NASCAR came from? Watch high-banked, full-throttle, super late model racing at the World 100 at Eldora Speedway on Flow Racing September 8th through the 11th. It's the crown jewel of dirt late models. This is grassroots racing at its finest. See who will win a Globe by subscribing today. Go to flowracing.com/world. That's FLOracing.com/world. Love talking about the history of the sport. The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, of course, that documents the history of the sport. And I love where things come back. Birthdays this week, Burt Emick, later on Larry Dixon, Bill Utz, there's a bunch of them, Bud Grimm, Hector Honori, Don Pageant, Sammy Sessions, Tony Bentonhausen. Today would have been the birthday of the Earl of Sydney, Earl Hallequist, a 2000 inductee into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Born in New Jersey in 1925, he was in the United States Navy during World War II. We realize we always run into those Navy guys when racing stopped. In 1946, a buddy and him decided to go to Little Valley Speedway up near Buffalo, New York.
I love that racetrack.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Run second.
So they went up there. Okay. He had never seen a sprint car. Earl had not. His buddy was talking to one of the team owners there and said, I think Earl would be a great sprint car driver. And he got Earl a ride in a sprint car the first time he ever saw a sprint car.
Wow.
And qualified for the A-Main. He didn't win the thing, but he qualified, but he fell in love. Now, he was a machinist in Sydney, New York,
ran the 50s with a bunch of tours up there, won a few races. 1959, he ran the full season with URC, and we loved the United Racing Club, okay?
Absolutely.
Ran the full tour, finished 4th in the points. At the banquet, he met George Nestler. George was a team owner. They decided to get together, and the 1960s were theirs. 6 URC titles in the 1960s, including one stretch of 4 straight. He is still honored to this day with the Earl Hallquist Memorial of the Patriots Prince at Fonda. Paulie Colagiovanni won it this year. So I love that. And he's forever enshrined at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and
I like
Museum.
that little upstate New York history.
Well, see, Sydney, New York, if you follow me on some of my social, my Postman 68, okay? 68 was my favorite driver as a kid, Pete Cordes from Sydney, New York. So I like it. I actually met my hero, Pete, a couple of years ago, and he talked a lot about Earl. Because obviously, if you're 2 race car drivers from the same town, and Sydney's not that big, I just love that. And it's interesting because probably as a kid, URC in 69, 70, he ran some midgets up there as well. I probably watched Earl race at 5 Mile Point Speedway when they would come through.
Yeah.
I was not a big open wheel guy at the time. I'm going to admit that. I was more of a modified guy. But I love
crossed over.
Right, exactly. It came from the dark side. So, no, I love it, and I love the history, and I love the history that is on display at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Erin, the clock is ticking out there at the Hall of Fame, though. Okay, on the Greg Hodnett display. The display goes through October 1st. So, if you are finding yourself in the vicinity, you need to get there for sure.
You really do. It's a beautiful display, and there's 8 of Greg's actual cars that he drove. There's testing and engineering equipment, uniforms, helmets, and other memorabilia. It's all the Salute to Champions have been awesome, but I think this one is the most detailed.
Who was the guy? The Australian guy that was friends with Greg. He's from the Memphis area.
Roger Johnson.
Roger Johnson. I was thinking Pete Johnson.
You said Australian guy. I'm like, wait, he's
Roger Johnson. Roger Johnson and Sherry worked together to put this together, and they had it all there. I mean, this display. I agree with you. I have enjoyed all of them.
Yes.
But boy, this one was buttoned up. And if there's and it was a weird scenario last year because they had it last year, and it's like, oh no, COVID hit, the place is shut down. You got a Greg Hodnett display in a building you're not allowed to go into. I love that they just said let's extend it because this way we all got to see it. I got to see it multiple times, and you see it and you go back and it's like, man, I missed that. I missed that.
I did the same thing.
Fun stuff. You can find out more at www.sprintcarhall.com or their gift shop, sprintcarstuff.com.
Hey, Ashley, what are you up to?
Oh, I just stopped by to grab some sage fruit apples. Now I just have to decide which ones.
You can never go wrong with a Honeycrisp. They're light, crisp, and full of perfectly balanced flavor.
Oh, hey!
You could always go with one of their classics, the Gala or Fuji. They're both sweet and juicy.
Grown in the heart of Eastern Washington, Sage Fruit Company works hard on the farm and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears to consumers all year long.
Well, I couldn't decide which ones. Thanks for the help, guys.
I'll race you to checkout.
Sunoco is a proud partner of Wing Nation. Not all fuels are created equal, so fill up with Sunoco Ultratech. Sunoco Ultratech is a top-tier detergent gasoline that is proven to make your engine run cleaner, longer, and more efficiently. Using the same detergent package as what is blended into some of Sunoco's high-performance race fuels, you can trust Ultratech for your everyday race. Whether you're headed to the track or just hitting the road, fill up with Sunoco Ultratech and fuel your best.
Just like racing components, Aggressive Hydraulics purpose-builds hydraulic cylinders to perform for customer-specific applications. They design and manufacture mobile-style, single-stage cylinders as well as multi-stage telescopic cylinders. It's a no one-size-fits-all approach with Aggressive Hydraulics. Hydraulic solutions for virtually every industry that uses hydraulic cylinders. They proudly design and manufacture all cylinders in the United States. Check out the video of their story at aggressivehydraulics.com.
Love our friends at Aggressive Hydraulics. Really, really fun stuff, and I just love their passion for the sport of racing. So aggressivehydraulics.com, you can check that out. We were supposed to be talking with Carson Macedo, but we always run into this, and it's the challenge of the sprint car world. We run into it with not watching West Coast races. Well, we're awake and they're asleep, and we're asleep when they're awake.
Yeah.
We're supposed to talk to Carson Macedo. Carson is always great with us. Obviously, probably 4 straight nights on the West Coast.
Sleeping in.
I wouldn't be calling Erin and Steve either. So, but he did win the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals, and continued on. Saw a good picture of him and Phil Dietz and all of them in Victory Lane. When you look at those 4 races, James McFadden, Brad Sweet, Carson Macedo, Logan Schuchart, and then last week's winner was one of the winners was Donnie Schatz. The world of outlaws, you just go and throw Sheldon in there. You just don't even know. There are 7 or 8.
Don't forget gravel.
Well, and gravel, yeah. There's like 7 or 8 deep that are going to. I mean, it's a fascinating and it's a great year.
It really
is. And then they're going into Chico this weekend.
Yeah, and really that's Carson Macedo territory.
Well, it's Carson Macedo territory,
and Brad
but
Sweet
Dominic Selzy is probably licking his chops a little bit. And then probably they'll all run second to Justin Sanders.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's California. You know, I mean, the world of outlaw NOS energy drink sprint cars are really, really good now. And just a real joy to follow all year long.
It really has. And when I looked at the point standings today, it's hard to even know who is second to 6th because all those guys are so, when I saw that Carson was pretty solidly in 3rd, I was like, wow, I don't pay attention to points that closely, but to realize, how many top 5s he had and how many top 10s he's had, I was like, and wins.
Which also speaks volumes to me about how good Brad Sweet is.
Yeah.
I mean, because we talk about the depth.
40th podium?
Yes.
Did I see that?
I mean, that's insane.
40 podiums.
Yeah. We talk about the depth of the world of outlaws, and yet to have one guy have a pretty good point lead. I mean. Yeah,
and you see Logan wins, Carson second, so you're like, oh, how is this going to mess up the points? Well, it didn't really because Brad was third.
Brad was 3rd, yeah. Brad, I mean, this just to me this season is further, not that Brad Sweet needed validation. This is another chapter of validation for Brad Sweet.
Yep.
Because this year has just been so good with such good, deep competition.
I mean, he considered that somewhat of a bad night. He finished 3rd.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, there's just some good stuff. One thing we didn't mention earlier on, and we want to put a little bit more attention and time into this. This past weekend was the 9th annual IMCA Sprint Car Nationals powered by Sunbelt Rentals at Eagle Raceway. A guy by the name of Tyler, I've always messed up his name, Drucke, okay? I wrote it and I wrote it wrong. Tyler Drucke picked up the win. We are going to take our podcast on Thursday. Tyler's going to join us on our podcast on Thursday. And we're going to spend a little time talking about that weekend and that big win. What a run he must have had on Friday night.
Yeah.
Woo, man. We're going to talk to Tyler Drucke, and we're going to talk a lot about the 305 programs. 305 racing is great sprint car racing. Mm-hmm. It really, truly is. And it covers coast to coast, and there's so much good racing. And one of my frustrations with Wing Nation is that we can't cover everybody.
Yeah.
Because they are such good racers. You know that, the Southern, the Carolina Sprint Tour, I get to some of their races, love it. When I see 305s at various places, I love the racing. So we're going to talk to Tyler Drucke and talk a lot of 305 racing on our podcast coming up on Thursday. It's going to be awesome. It really, truly is going to be big fun. If you're looking for Wing Nation gear and apparel, you can get it at the All-Star Circuit of Champions souvenir trailer or www.wingnation.com. That's wingnation.com. Follow us on social media, Twitter and Facebook. We also have that YouTube page with a lot of these interviews on the YouTube page. As we mentioned, coming up on a podcast, Tyler Drucke and Wing Nation television program. We're talking Tuscarora 50. Lance Deweese joins Ashley Stremme and I on that program. Ashley, the reigning Juniata County apple pie champion. So great fun, that's for sure. Hey, we appreciate Sye Lynch for joining us here on the program. More important, though, than all of that, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires.